Hello, welcome to the No Bruises on the Outside channel. I'm Roger Reynolds, and in this video, I want to answer the question, why am I starting a channel about complex PTSD titled No Bruises on the Outside? I'll do another video about why the name No Bruises on the Outside, but I'm going to answer now, sorry there's bugs, why a YouTube channel about complex PTSD? And I'll do another video about what is complex PTSD. But the reason for doing this channel is complex PTSD or developmental trauma disorder is a newer mental illness diagnosis. And I started to see therapists when I was 20, and therapists and myself thought that I had depression. And it wasn't until I was almost 46 years old that I was finally accurately diagnosed with PTSD in a specific form called complex PTSD. So the reason for doing this channel is hoping to help increase awareness and increase understanding and increase compassion, increase empathy, and increase accurate diagnosing of people with complex PTSD. So one way to increase awareness that is often used, or one way to increase awareness, is by public campaigns, public information, and people with lived experience talking about what their lives are like with a certain condition or with a certain piece of life. So from autism to Alzheimer's to amputation to living with chronic fatigue syndrome to living with mental health conditions, which is what I'm talking about, to being gay or lesbian, to or bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, or an ally, all of that LGBT queer community, they've gained understanding by speaking publicly. I'm a gay man. I've been doing that since the early 90s. I used to be on a speakers bureau talking about being gay in the early 90s. But that's another subject. Back to why I'm doing this video. So people of color are talking about what it's like to live in the United States, particularly people of color, black people, are talking about what it's really like for them. So when the way to get the general public to understand something more is for people with lived experience, people who live with something, to tell stories of what their daily life is like. That's the reason I'm doing this channel. My hope or goal, as I said, is for people to get more accurately diagnosed, to get diagnosed sooner, to even know that it is a diagnosis, to understand, to not just live thinking they have depression or depression and anxiety if they really have complex PTSD. And then if they can get diagnosed sooner, diagnosed accurately, they can get better treatment. And the goal of that is to decrease suffering in their life and increase their comfort. Now, they may not return to a normal life, or they may not get to a normal life, quote normal, but at least they can increase their comfort and decrease their suffering. And so the reason I'm doing this is to help people understand more about complex PTSD. Another group that I kind of forgot is actually the people living with complex PTSD. They may be accurately diagnosed, but because many of us living with complex PTSD, this has been our entire lives, we don't know that many of our symptoms are actually symptoms. It's just how we live. It's just how we grew up. It's just how we go forward in life as an adult. So as I will talk about various symptoms and struggles that I have, people with complex PTSD, I hope, will be tuning in, and they may learn from my explanation what is something that they're also struggling with. So the reason for this channel is to increase awareness, increase understanding, hoping to increase compassion and empathy, both for people living with PTSD or complex PTSD and for those who care about them, those who know them, and the general public. Thank you for tuning in, and there's a lot of content here to explore. I hope that you find something that's helpful. Thanks.